So, hi. So today's a restock of the BFGRM Fuzz. Um, let's start now because yeah. Okay. So basically, let me switch the camera to the other. So today is basically the restock of the BFGRMWB Fuzz. So this pedal has been around for a few months and stuff. So it takes some time for us to rebuild that because they are all like big components, and like we take some time to source the component and build it right. And with all those like special components we use for this pedal, so usually we take some time for us to build a batch and then we release them. So today, what we are doing is releasing the restock for the original green one, and then we are introducing the snow colorway, the same pedal, but then yeah, it's your typical Big Muff Fuzz kind of sound. But then this pedal actually has been I've been wanting to actually do a live session to talk about this pedal for a while, but then I just seems to always have don't have enough time to actually get this done. And also before that, I didn't have like a proper setup and stuff. It's just too much hassle for me to do. But then right now I'm ready, so we are doing this today. Okay, so basically this is okay, if just a little bit background so you guys know where we are coming from with this pedal. If you know our brand OKKO FX, you know that like we are not really into making clones of existing pedals. So if you know it, if you look into our lineup, all our pedals before the BFGRM is actually based on nothing. It's just original circuits. The Diablo is an original circuit. The Twin Sonic is an original circuit. The T3 is the cocaine compressor and the coca compressor, the motor base. They are all original circuit. I mean, when you, I have to be very careful when you talk about original, because it's like when you're making pedals these days, you don't really reinvent the wheel. Like certain way of how you clip the circuit and how you actually build the schematic around, it's nothing new. It's just that like we usually don't go all out. HiCo usually don't go all out and say like, oh okay, this is a clone with some kind of improvement or whatever. But with the BFGRMWB, it's like it's basically more like a passion project for HiCo. So HiCo really love the green Russian Big Muff, so bubble font. So he's been playing with it around, and then he started like getting more and more into like of the circuit. So he bought a bunch of vintage Big Muff and stuff and start researching, and then it became like an obsession. Just go on and on and on and just try different components and find out what's the quirks of the circuits and stuff. So with that said, it's like, so it's something that's like really like a passionate thing from HiCo. So because he wants to explore the circuit and try to find ways to actually make it better for the modern use. So as you can tell, as you already know, if you're a big fan of the Green Russian Big Muff, you know there's only 3 knobs: volume, gain, and tone. So there's not a lot of wiggle room there for like a different kind of tone and stuff. Sorry for like talking a lot, because like I have to actually get this out just so that like you kind of get to understand the background of this pedal. This is the whole point of me doing the live. Like my previous live session, I actually give a disclaimer and tell you guys, it's like, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of talking, but I'm not a demo guy. I am actually working for the company, so I'm allowed to do that, I guess. So so with that all that experiment went into this. Is a lot of work. So in the end, HiCo just came out with a Big Muff Fuzz, like a green Russian mouse, who is known for a lot of low end and stuff. He make it way like versatile. Then like people never thought of this. So there's an added presence knob, and then right now we have the usual tone knob is still there. but it's added a mid-range knob and also the rumble. The rumble controls how much low end is in the early of the circuits to make it like more oomph. So you can reduce it or you can add more, and you can just go max out. It just depends. The rumble, it depends on the amps that you're using and the guitars that is using. The some amps that already have a lot of low end, you might not really hear the difference that much, but you will hear it. So without further ado, I think I would just like go around the pedal and try to show you what this pedal is about. Again, mind you, I will usually off the voice, my mic when I play, because I think it's just way distracting when you hear the strumming coming from the mic as well. So let's start this. Obviously, the reason why I put two on the table is so that in the end of the video we are going to stack this. Surprisingly, it's quite acceptable. You would thought it's gonna be something too crazy to be useful, but not really. We will go through this. So let's start. Let me off the mic. Okay. So sorry, this is I have to explain a little bit. So this is I'm using my Jaguar as usual with 2 quarter pounders. Using mostly the bridge pickup because you don't use Big Muff with the neck pickup, do you? So with the neck bridge pickup into 2 tone axes. On the right is the Bartel Roseland, on the left is the Morgan Door. So I use Tonex. Someday I will run these pedals through my YouTube amps, like my Marshalls and stuff, but it's easier and I think the sound is good enough. I'm a big fan of Tonex. Okay, so that's about it basically. That's my signature to Big Muff into 2 different amps. You barely hear the stereo because I level them quite well. So let's go. So let's start with something just simple. I'm just keep everything about like in the middle, but my presence I like it a bit higher, usually my tone as well. Let's start with low gain. Surprisingly, this pedal actually do quite well low gain. So let's start with low gain. So this is as low as it gets. It's quite a usable sound, I guess, but then nobody actually think about getting a Big Muff and just play it low gain. It's just like I'm just showing you that like with these circuits, the low gain actually is working quite well. A little bit of a presence. Get this back here. Let's go to the mid range. Yeah, with this you can hear that's the sound of a really scooped Big Muff. With the mid knob, I think you have like no problem actually cutting through the mix, because it's like usually there's a problem with Big Muff, is like you can't really cut through the mix. So the mid knob actually helps a lot. Actually, I'm not really a Big Muff guy, not that big of a Big Muff guy, but then it's like because I always thought I get lost in the mix, but with the BFGRM I can use that like all the time, because if I really feel like the mid is not enough, I just max it. And don't be afraid to max the knob. You can do that. It's like it's the range all throughout the sweep. It's actually quite useful. Let's go to the tone knob and see how brittle this thing gets. Just showing you the difference between the tone up and the presence. They play different roles. So as you can see, there's a lot of sound you can get out of this, which is like something for me. I really love like how Big Muff, the vintage Big Muff are. It's because it's like it's almost like like a loot box. When you buy a vintage Big Muff, you never know what you're gonna get, because during the production around that time, I think like they just don't really care. They just like put whatever capacitor that is. If they lose a certain value, don't have enough, they just throw another in. So a lot of times people get the same pedal, let's say like the Green Russian Big Muff, and they have the same like production, but then they sound different. But this kind of like it's nice thing for you to as a collector, just to find like what is cool and what is not. But then as someone like a professional musician, you want that Big Muff sound. You want a certain consistency to the pedal that you use. You don't want to have the guesswork. And also the vintage Big Muff have an issues of like the buffer is really bad. It's like you need a buffer pedal, otherwise it's like it's just suck the tone like crazy. So you won't have this issue with the BFGRM, because it's like the whole point of us doing this is to make this a modern solution to the Big Muff sound, which is actually quite close. If you actually have watched Fabian from Dot Sound's demo, he actually shoot it out against his like Green Russian Big Muff, the vintage one, and it's like the sound is super close. I know it's super close as well because the fact that I have been watching Heiko like tinkering with the circuit for months and months and months and months. He just tried to get it just right. So he want to make sure that when you get the BFGRMWB, you get that vintage Green Russian Muff sound, but more than that. Because otherwise there's no point for him to make this pedal, because it's like why people would just buy a Green Russian Big Muff. I mean, even though there's a lot of variation in sound, because of that production issue that I have just mentioned, people, if they really want that authentic sound, they can just get one. If they don't like that, resell it until they find a certain Green Russian unit that this actually sounds right to them, right? So this is basically a modern solution for the Big Muff, the Green Russian Big Muff. You can use this on the bass as well because of the low end that's inherently inside the circuit. It's like you can use that. This can support the bass guitar and stuff. So oh yeah, I actually haven't done the rumble. Let's do the rumble and see how this goes. So like I said before, like the rumble, you can hear the difference is there, but you have to look for it. The moment I turn it all the way down, you can hear the low end is gone, the rumble is gone. So it's something that is like not very obvious, but if it's not there, you're looking for it, right? And this is pretty much my settings. I keep the rumble in the middle, like so. Usually I lead more mids. And my sweet spot is basically, it's either I just max it up until here or full, or basically like here, or I keep it around 11 o'clock or 12. or here. So this is the special thing about it. I can actually play something like, you know, super like low sound with like a lot of low end, and I can play like sharp, like, you know, strummings like this. It's like, you know, riffing like this. Or this. So, yeah, basically that's the BFGRMWB. So, last time when I still actively play in a band, I mostly use a lot of red and also the Big Muff. Whenever I use the Big Muff, I usually need something like a mid thing, like mid push to it. Otherwise, I would just get like it just goes missing, right? People who play Doom, they probably don't care too much about that because they want that big low end thing. So the solution for that last time is basically I simply just use a tube screamer and run a tube screamer into it. With the tube screamer into that, it brings back the mid. Then I cut through. But with this, I don't have to do that. I just have to turn out the mids. So I can show you how this thing stack with something else. I have the Diablo underneath my pedalboard. Let me show you. So this is the thing. So I have the Diablo. Let me put on the Diablo. I can also boost it with the boost that's on the cocaine. Can boost it with a Greer-like speed. So, right, that's basically it's the distortion pedal. It's big. that's the whole point, because the green Dachshund Big Muff is bigger than this. It has a lot of good controls. If you like that Big Muff sound, you can just do with this pedal and just do a lot with it, and it stacks well with other pedals. It stacks well together as well. So let me do some settings. See if how should I stack this. Let's have high gain on this side and low gain on this side, and push some volume into it. This thing is, let's put the rumble full on this side, and the mids just scoop it a little bit, and here I will push more of the mids in, more presence and more tone. Rumble, put it, stop. Okay, so let's go. Let's oh yeah, I didn't show you. So okay, so this is set up. On the green side, I have the Big Muff and high gain with a tone a bit over 12. I lower the mids, so they have some scoop sound. I push the rumble all the way up. Presence as usually where I like, and this is going into this. I have a low distortion and high master volume with the tone a bit high, and mids higher, and then cut down the rumble and a bit more presence. So by itself it sounds like this. So that's the sound. Let's flip it around. Let's have this like a preamp setting. The gain around here, low distortion. This a bit higher. Lower the master volume. Setting. Let's go about the same. Let's put the rumble a bit less, and the mids a bit less. So let me try. Okay, by itself. This by itself. So there's a lot of mids in here, not so much here. Let's start with this. That's a good sound. I actually like this. It's really broken. Turn up the gain. Let's go crazy. Let's see everything up on both of them. Sustains go on forever. So by now, I think your ears probably can't really tell the difference anymore because of the amount of like low end. That's always a problem with me because like if I play with something a lot of low end at one point, I think my ears just can't really like tell like what's the difference anymore. So this is a good time to stop. I guess it's like so it's about 40 minutes. It's like it's a dry pedal. It's a fuzz pedal. It's like how long? There's nothing special. There's no MIDI or whatever. So, yes, I'm pretty sure a lot of people like the white ones. I'm not sure. I haven't checked the website if it's like sold out or not. We don't have many of them. So, so sorry if you guys if it's sold out. I'm not too sure. I will have to check the website later. But yes, these two they are going to be on our regular lineup. Although we are always kind of a bit slower to get this done, but we will eventually restock them. Oh yeah, let's talk about the shipping. Okay, so we are quite aware that like a lot of our customers are from United States. So we sell most of them to United States because it's like I'm the big fan of the Big Muff. That's the homeland of the Big Muff, right? So because of the tariff, things get a bit more complicated. So we were actively looking for a solution for that. So first, okay, so earlier I announced that we actually have 3 options to actually do that. But we found that later on after I make the post that there's like the option 1 could be quite tricky because it's like it results in a lot of problems. I think from what I heard, some people actually tried it and then there's like will result in a lot of problems. It's either the invoice, like when you get the pedals, because the difference between UPS, how they operate like over in the United States and here is, if I buy something from the US and it's shipped via UPS, when it arrives at the custom, UPS will inform me that I have to pay a certain amount of the VAT, which is usually 19% of the VAT for the pedal. If I fail to do so, UPS can't do anything to make the customs to release my pedal. So I will not get my pedal if I don't pay the 19% VAT. But over in United States, I think how it works is like they will deliver the pedal and they will end up sending you an invoice. So a lot of times this invoice goes missing or people didn't realize that's the amount that they have to pay because they already got their item. So it's like it wouldn't cross their mind at that point, I think. So when that happens, UPS, who actually what they do is they handle the thing. That's why they charge you for handling fees. They handle the whole custom release thing. So they charge you 15 euro or 15 USD. I'm not too sure. And they also pay for the tariff for you on your behalf, like assuming that you will pay them back. When they fail to get that tax back, means basically UPS is making a loss. And when UPS make a loss, they cannot get the seller to pay them, they will come back to the buyer. So the buyer will end up having to pay the 15%. So it gets tricky. I assume most of the time these don't happen because people are generally, if they know of the invoice, they usually just pay it because what, you don't want to steal, right? So you pay for everything. It's just like I pay for like invoice whenever I get some. There's lots of them. So but this raises a lot of questions. And what happens when that happens, when that kind of situation arises? And I don't think we are too equipped to actually deal with that, because it's like in the end, then we will make loss paying for the 15% tariff. So that's unsustainable for us. So this is why we decide to stop the option 1 for now. We will see like if there's a good solution, because I don't really understand why people would want to deal with custom, because it's a pain. It's a really big pain. Is that because every time I buy something from outside the country, it's a pain, because it's like it depends on the vendor. UPS is usually quite good. They send you an email or an SMS, and then they give you a link to pay for the VAT. But like sometimes, like some other, like maybe DHL, I'm not too sure, or FedEx, I can't remember, they make it really complicated for you to pay. It's like, and it's a lot of hassle, and it's like you just like waiting and like see how much they ended charging you, and sometimes the number doesn't really make any sense, and then there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to pay for the tax. So, and Germany is actually really strict with this. It's like I remember when I moved here, it's like, and I sent a box of my clothing, because I moved here from Malaysia since 2017, and I sent a box of my clothing from Malaysia, and obviously it's my own belonging. I just have to give it a value, and I put a value in it, and when it arrived in Germany, they charged me for the 19% VAT based on the value I put on my package. So I ended up paying tax for all clothing that I own. So I don't know how things operate in the US, but I think it's better to safe than sorry. So we just provide you guys like hassle-free shipping, everything all in one. Everything is included. You pay us for the pedal, the shipping cost, the 15% tariff, and also the UPS handling fees. And then all this will be dispersed by us to UPS and to the US customs and US government. So and then when the thing arrives, everything is paid, and the pedal just go direct to your house. The only difference is that you guys now pay more. So basically that's the only difference. When you use this the option 2, basically you will get the pedal on your doorstep. The only difference is that you pay more than before 1st of September. So there's nothing we can do, because it's like it's a government procedure thing. It's like there's nothing that have to do with us, because we are just running a small business. So when these things arise, we just have to adapt. So for you guys as well, I wish you guys don't have to pay for the extra 15% tariff, but then this is just the way it is. Yeah, so I think it's about almost 7 o'clock over here. I haven't had dinner. So yes, go to the website and then get a BFGRMWB if you're into a Big Muff and you want like the most versatile Big Muff. I dare to say that this is like the most versatile Big Muff I have ever played. A lot of the Big Muff, especially those with mids, I can't remember which one I tried. I usually like them, but as a tinkerer, I always like more options. Like, I want a tone knob and also a presence knob and also a mid knob and also a low end control and everything. I just want everything. Maybe give me a few toggles and stuff, right? So it depends on like how you like things. If you say like, this is like 6 knobs on a Big Muff, that's way too much. It's like, if you think that's complicated, I don't think so. You just have to go through matter of fact, put everything in the middle, and just play your favorite guitar into your favorite amp, tweak here and there, and in the end you will find the sound that you like. You're most probably just gonna stick to that. It's just like me, I'm just sticking to this. Basically, this is basically my setting. Sometimes the difference is just the gain, like how much gain I want, right? So the setting is basically the presence quite high. Rumble, usually I don't need it that much. I want things to be a bit more snappy. Then I have the mids. Sometimes I push the mids high and stuff. It depends on how much you want. So, and I stack them in something. So for those of you who have already owned this, I think it's worth getting another one because they actually sounds really good together. If you want that really broken sound, it's like that is basically the sound. Just get two of them. For those of you who's not really don't really think this is the right time to buy one, you can think about it. Just keep in mind that the stock that we put in usually is not a lot. We kind of build it in small batches, so it's considered a small batch thing for us. So they will go away at some point, and then it will be off our website for a few months. Maybe when we are ready, then we make another drop. So especially the white one, there are not many of them. I think it's like I think we restock more of the green than actually the white. So yeah, go and get it. I think it's time for me to go for dinner. So I wish you. I'm not sure what time is it in the US. In Europe, is dinner time, isn't it? Or maybe it's a bit too late for dinner time. Usually we eat at 6 o'clock. So have a nice evening. Have a nice dinner. If you are in the US, if it's in the morning or whatever, good morning. Have a good breakfast. So yes. So I will see you guys again. This video is gonna be uploaded to YouTube. For those who missed the live stream, you can go over there and just have a rewatch the thing. I will try to put some timestamps because it's like there's a lot of parts. Maybe people don't have patience for that for a 50 minutes video. So yeah, see you guys. Cheers.